At this point, I don't think Person of Interest is just a show. I think it's actually a documentary about a supercomputer who runs different probabilities to decide what the best option forward would be. Here I am watching my show, Season 4, Episode 11. You can't make this up. Season 4, Episode 11. The episode's title is If Then Else. Early on in the show, one of the operatives for the bad AI asks the guy in charge of the bad AI, hey, could this be a bad thing being so public? And the guy responds with this.
Any concern this move by Samaritan might risk being too public?
It's apparent madness. There's a method, Mr. Lambert. Mere first step to establishing a new world order.
Short premise, there's two different AIs and they're competing for control, essentially. And the bad AI decides it's going to crash the stock market. And so the people who are in charge of the good AI have to go there and they have to put in some kind of a counter code to undo what the bad AI has done. So they show up at the stock exchange in New York City. They get into a pickle. They're stuck in a room and there's Samaritan, which is the bad AI. They're outside. These operatives are shooting into the room that they're hiding in. Both AIs are watching them and they're looking at them. And Root, who's one of the characters, says a little bit of help here. And she has direct access to the good AI. So she can kind of like hear it inside of her ears. Kind of crazy, but that's the way the show is. So everything slows down and the AI starts looking at every single probability of survival and what's going to get the objective passed, which is to undo this bad AI stock market crash.
We need a strategy.
A little help, please.
It's now the time for your machine to go on the fritz, Harold.
Give it a second. It's got a lot on its mind.
What I love about this show is it kind of flashes back into time and flashes forward. And so one of the things that is happening in this show is it's flashing back to when Harold, who is the person who created the good AI, is sitting in the park and he's playing chess with his machine, which is the good AI. And they're playing chess. He's teaching the AI how to play chess.
Well, that's interesting. How many moves did you consider that time? It's good you're paring them down. Concentrating on the most aggressive possible moves. I didn't see that. You like the queen, don't you? She can move in any direction, target anything. It wasn't always the case, though. She used to be one of the weakest pieces. They played chess in the royal court of Spain in the 15th century. Queen Isabella was offended. She asked her advisors if they thought her that feeble. Their response was to make her the most powerful piece in the game. You have to be careful, though, because in chess, the more powerful a piece is, the more useful they are. Not just for winning, but to be used for sacrifice, as a trick. How many moves did you consider that time? A second is like an infinity to you, isn't it? You can take the time to consider everything. Or almost everything. I'm afraid you missed it.
I thought this was crazy. He asked how many different moves did you look at? And the number that popped up, I was like, wow. 47th president, 35th president. That's kind of weird. But this show is actually acting out in real time what would happen in each simulation. So you think as the viewer that that's what's really happening, but then it you realize it's a simulation, because it's like, oh nope, that one didn't work, so let's go back to the drawing board and let's see which one would work. So you get to see how the computer works. It works out every possible thing that could happen. If they do this, this is what could happen. These are the potential chances of this happening. And then you get to see what happens. It's kind of like those books when you're a kid where you get to decide the ending. So you pick this way and then this is what happens. It's kind of like that. What I think is really cool about this show is that as each scenario plays out, in every single one, certain things happen in every single one. There's a painting that is up on the wall and Harold takes a second to enjoy it, and then seconds later it gets shot up and Harold's like, oh my gosh, how could that? Because he loves art. But during the real time that they go down the hall and they see this painting, Root takes it off the wall so it doesn't get shot up. So the machine knew Harold well enough to know that it would really bug him if that thing got shot up, so it made sure that Root would take it off of the wall and put it on the ground. When it flashed back to Harold playing chess again, Harold had kind of a monologue about the game of chess and how there are certain people who look at us as a game of chess, how there's pawns and kings and certain ones mean more to others, mean more than others. And listen to what he had to say about that.
Yes, you needn't rub it in. One afternoon and you're a grand master. Mind you, you'll encounter far more capable opponents than me if you go looking. No, I don't think so. You asked me to teach you chess, and I've done that. It's a useful mental exercise. Through the years, many thinkers have been fascinated by it, but I don't enjoy playing. You know why not? Because it was a game that was born during a brutal age when life counted for little, and everyone believed that some people were worth more than others. Kings and pawns. I don't think that anyone is worth more than anyone else. I don't envy you the decisions you're going to have to make. And one day I'll be gone, and you'll have no one to talk to. But if you remember nothing else, please remember this. Chess is just a game. Real people aren't pieces. You can't assign more value to some of them than to others. Not to me, not to anyone. People are not a thing that you can sacrifice. The lesson is that anyone who looks on the world as if it was a game of chess deserves to lose.
So we have season 4, episode 11. We have themes of chess being played through the entire show. We have a supercomputer that is running probabilities of certain situations of what would happen if they did this, then what would happen. We have machines watching over humans and basically learning their tendencies enough to be able to figure out these probabilities. I don't think this show got the props that it probably deserved back when it first came out. But I'm watching it and I'm just in awe in 2025. It's basically a documentary. We have people who are trying to save the world from this evil AI who's trying to take over. And they have this computer that's running probabilities that will give them the best chance at survival and an accomplished mission. For me, this show was the best illustration of how these computers work. Because in the end, that's all it is. It's just computers doing high-level math, trying to figure out what the best case would be, what the next best step would be. And I couldn't sleep last night. I was just blown away by that episode. So, person of interest, producers, kudos to you.